I noticed this even about 15 years ago, that people were saying, I feel like. People still do that. They say, I just feel like the sun is shiny today. I feel like that isn't totally right. I feel like. And I thought, well, what did we say before we said, I feel like? I think. In other words, stating a fact from one's own perspective in a definitive and declarative way. This fear of actually stating something because what? Because we don't want to offend people, because we don't really have the courage of our convictions, because maybe we don't have a stable identity and we're just lost in a morass of gushy emotion.
Yeah, and I don't think that people understand the way that feelings relate to the formation of ideas, when feelings influence what we think. So part of the goal of the book is to disentangle feelings from ideas and from a sense of self or identity. And we tend to have a sense of who we are that is, can change depending on the environment that we're in. We walk into some rooms and we can be, we can sort of become a more adaptable person than we are, for instance, with our own family. And part of the goal is to understand the environments that we're in. Maybe it's when we log on to X, or when we are in a certain workplace, or we're talking to a certain person. We can sense ourselves kind of not being true to who we are, or saying what we actually think. And we have to anticipate that and understand the way that different environments affect our sense of fidelity and integrity. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to do, is say, look, in this world of technological change and social contagion, how are we being formed, perhaps in ways that we don't even understand, to be less faithful to what we believe is actually true?